That's why I'm suggesting that these two reports are self-corroborating.
Yeah.
And our witnesses can read both these reports. They are posted to the website, ufocenter.com. They can read those reports on our website. But Quincy is south of Boston, and of course, straight south of Boston and Connecticut is Long Island, New York. So they're within, I would say, probably 100 or 150 miles of one another. So those two sets of witnesses clearly saw the same thing.
Wow. That is amazing. And obviously you could do the calculation on how quickly that object traveled, the 100 and whatever miles it was. But it sounds like...
Seen it at the, excuse me for interrupting, they may have seen it at the same time from their two respective positions.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
It would require an investigation to send somebody out to interview them and have the witnesses show the investigator exactly where they were, where they had been during the sighting, and what directions they were looking. All of that takes, of course, time and money and other resources in order to collect that data. Some days, Michael, I wish I were more an investigator than a secretary. Running a hotline. I enjoy the investigation more than sitting at my desk listening to the telephone ring.
Yes, exactly. That's what you would really like to do, is be out there in the field, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, Peter, this is a whole night of green fireballs and lights from Galveston, Texas, Chihuahua, Washington, Ojai, California, Hurricane, West Virginia, and, oh my gosh, Quincy, Maine, and Oakdale, New York. They're all over the country.
Yeah, Quincy, Mass. If I said Maine, I should have said
Massachusetts.
Sorry. Quincy, Massachusetts, which is due south of Boston about 20 or 30 miles, I think. I've actually been to Quincy.
But
this is a new development, and I'm going to be watching for more similar reports, and I will save them and report them on Night Dreams Talk Radio.
Wonderful. And let's do this. I always don't want to let you get out of here without telling people exactly, again, the UFO hotline phone number. And, of course, we're going to reiterate the website. And then we'd like to probably give that P.O. box out for people who might want to send a little check of some kind around your neck of the woods there for all this work that you do for basically free all these years. We want to make sure that we get that. So how about we'll start with the UFO hotline phone number.
Yep. The hotline is our telephone hotline for UFO reports. It's been the same number for 44 years, Michael, and it is area code 206-722-3000. 206-722-3000. And it rings 24 hours a day. That's not to say I answer it when it rings all the time. I turn the ringer off when I sleep, of course. But the website for written reports, and we always hope that people will follow up a telephone call with a written report with all the details of their sighting. The website is ufocenter.com, ufocenter.com. And for those who might like to send $5 or $10 our way to help us with the telephone bill and the website fees, they can mail it to the National UFO Reporting Center, or NUFORC, New Fork, P.O. Box 700, Davenport, Washington, and the zip code is 99122. So that's P.O. Box 700, Davenport, Washington, like my name, Davenport, Washington, 99122. And thank you for mentioning that, Michael.
Oh, you're welcome. Mo, I just love that with a ufologist like yourself having a town of your own. I love that. Davenport, Washington.
Yeah.
Well, Peter, thank you very much for taking the full half hour with us tonight and updating us on these amazing green and bluish green fireballs and lights in the sky that are happening. And hopefully you'll have a wonderful rest of your weekend there. And, enjoy your next week, and hopefully maybe we'll see you and talk with you next week. But thank you again for coming on tonight.
You bet. I look forward to my next appearance on Night Dreams Talk Radio, Michael. You're great to work with.
Oh, thank you so much. All righty. Well, thank you again. Good night. Wow. Boy, I tell you what, folks, if you haven't had a chance to check out Peter's National UFO Reporting Center, you should, because basically it is a massive data bank. It has all sorts of reports from all over the country and all over the world, literally, but you can plug in your own hometown into the search engine of this database, and you will get in your proximity, close proximity, the UFO reports that have been happening in your own area. You can search them through time frame, positions on the map, geographic locations, and also you can search by the shape of the objects being sighted as well. You can go for discs, triangles, orange fireballs, green fireballs, whatever has been happening in your area or anywhere you would like to take a look. For instance, you'd like to check your old hometown or where your children are going to college or anything like that, and they've got some ability to just look and see what's out there in every place across the country. So it's well worth going, and it's well worth, if you ever have an opportunity, to send a few bucks to Peter Davenport's way. That P.O. Box 700 at Davenport, Washington, 99122 would be just a real nice thing for Peter because of all this expense that he pretty much funds on his own. Well, that was quite an interesting sighting report to talk about. And now I'm very excited to introduce you to our next guest, our main guest for tonight's show. Her name is Kathleen-Werstien, and Kathleen is a wonderful author. She has written a book that I really kind of like the title to. It's called Guiding Kathy. And you can imagine just by that title, the thoughts that would run through your mind. How does that deal with the idea of guardian angels and visual dreams, potentially, or near-death experiences? So we're going to find out, and I think Kathleen is on the line now. Kathleen, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Hi, welcome aboard. Did you have a chance, by the way, to listen to some of the reports that Peter was talking about?
Yes, some of them. I was trying to charge my phone. The cord kept coming in and out, and I'm trying to play with that. But yeah, some of them, they're scary. Things like that really scare me, but he's very interesting.
Oh, Peter is just, he's been doing this for, 40, 45 years, and he's very tireless. He kind of is the core. Matter of fact, just to let you know, that hotline phone number that he gave out for the UFO National UFO Center is 206-722-3000. That phone number is in every single FAA tower around the United States, all the private airports, military airports, even law enforcement across the United States, your local police departments and sheriff offices. They all have that phone number because, people come in the door and call the towers at the local airport. And, did you see that? What was that? And of course, then they
that's interesting.
refer all of these things to Peter Davenport, and that's what he has been collating all these years. Yeah,
that's magnificent. Wow.
Well, first of all, let's start with maybe explaining to our listeners where you are from or where are you living at this point.
Okay, I'll give you a bio of me. I'll use my full first name for the title of my book, but everybody calls me Kathy with a K. And I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, and come from a small family. My parents, one sibling who's older than I am. And while I was living with my parents, my father, being retired as a plumber, decided to move to Las Vegas, and of course I moved with my parents to Las Vegas, and along with my cat, and that's where I currently reside in. And as you're aware, I'm an author, and my book title is Guiding Kathy, A True Story. I have done several podcasts and radio shows to tell about my experiences that I wrote about in my book, and now I am on your show ready to talk about my book with you and your listeners.
Oh, and I really appreciate this. This is going to be a fun time that we're going to have. We've got plenty of time, and we're going to just take our time and really enjoy your subject matter here of this book. First of all, how did you come across the idea for the title? I always like to ask that. I'm kind of a budding author myself, and I think sometimes the title ends up being the last thing that I come up with after I really get into the book. But how did you come up with Guiding Kathy?
Because God and guardian angels have guided me.
Ah, your whole life, or was this precipitated by some kind of an incident?
Well, actually, it started when I was 2 years old, when I was gifted by God. He reached out to me, so to speak, and for the details, you need to read the book. I'll put it to you that way, that he reached out to me. And when I was 3 years old, angels started to protect me. They kept me from falling off a balcony, prevented me from being badly injured in 2 car accidents. They also prevented me from severely injuring my head when I fell down a flight of stairs. And when I was in my teens, all I wanted to be was married. And I wanted the exact same kind of a relationship that my parents had, a very loving, caring, and nurturing one. So at the age of 16, an angel guided me by giving me a hint as to where my future husband was at that time. I thought that the angel meant where my then current boyfriend was heading to, so that is who I ended up marrying, that current boyfriend. Well,
you didn't quite get the message correct then, right? I mean, you were thinking
exactly.
that this guy, but it turned out not to be. And it's kind of interesting. That points to the fact that we do have free will, right? We can get suggestions, we can get guidance, like you have in your life story, but we do have free will, and sometimes we don't do the right things, but eventually with your guardian angels and your, all of your otherworldly advice, it sounds like things work out better in the long run anyway.
They definitely, yes, they do. Yes, it comes with the territory, though. I mean, it comes with everyday living. Of course, I'm not an angel. If I were, I'd be on the other side. So I'm living life like everybody else does, just struggling through. But I feel highly blessed to have them guide me and protect me when need be. Yes.
And you know what that reminds me of, Kathleen, is Garth Brooks's country song entitled Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. I don't know if you remember that song, but it just hit my heart big time, where how many times have we just prayed and really wanted something so badly, and it never happened. Then you figure out, oh my goodness, I'm glad it never happened.
Yes, it works out for a reason, exactly. And it makes me think sometimes, too, when you have a doctor's appointment and you misplace your keys or something blocked your path to get there on time. Maybe it happened to avoid an accident or something that you might have been involved in. Just freaky, fluky things in the universe that go on.
Yes, exactly. And I tell you what, I used to be the ultimate worrier. I would just really freak out if something like that happened. I was supposed to be someplace at this specific time, and for some reason there was a major event that took me out of the way that I couldn't get there at the time. And you just always think, well, maybe there was a reason for that.
Yeah, I believe that. I really do. Yeah.
Fascinating. Well, now when you were 16 years old, actually before that, you had a whole bunch of experiences of being protected, is what you're saying, as you were growing up as a young woman. Did you have any other strange, interesting things happen to you other than just being protected? Did you happen to have any sighting reports